Also, the unconditional, non-judgmental support the staff have towards him. So if he has a meltdown one day or even in the morning of that day, he doesn't feel that anyone's judging him or feels less of him, and they're continually supporting his self-confidence and self-esteem and self-mastery around his emotional regulation.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
In our case, it was a recommendation from our kids' behavioral therapist who felt that he would be a good fit for the school, and that's kind of how we chose the school, essentially. He was struggling with the typical school system, and so knowing that, she felt that it would be a good fit for him. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, he was just really struggling, even making it through school day. So we were really relying on her to help us figure out somewhere he would fit in, like some program or something, anything that he would be able to just stay a full day at school.
Yeah.
And that's when she suggested Oakridge Academy.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
So, his response to me at the school was incredible because they reassured us right away that they were never going to call us in the day to pick him up. And at his previous school, as Kristi mentioned, he never made it a full day through. And they had a modified schedule for him there at his typical school, which was 2 hours, 3 days a week. And that just seemed sort of a miscarriage of justice because he's such a keen learner.
And that was also with me sitting outside for those 2 hours, just in case he had a meltdown.
Right away, they reassured us that he's a very smart guy, so he would figure out ways in which he could manipulate teachers to behave in certain ways that would result in them sending him home. For example, during COVID, he knew to spit. He would start spitting everywhere and then immediately be sent home, whereas Oakridge has the right staff to student ratio and the right training in terms of the staff that are there. Mostly in addition to the teacher, they have BTs and BTAs that can help support. So we've never had a call from the school to come and pick him up. They've always been able to manage and then give us the supports needed to continue whatever skills they're instilling him at home. So. Yeah. For him, developing friendships was always very difficult because the school's focus is on teaching kids the techniques required to, I guess, behaviorally emotionally regulate. So having friendships and having them cultivate friendships has been really important. Also, the unconditional, non-judgmental support the staff have towards him. So if he has a meltdown one day or even in the morning of that day, he doesn't feel that anyone's judging him or feels less of him, and they're continually supporting his self-confidence and self-esteem and self-mastery around his emotional regulation. Whereas I think he felt quite isolated and kind of stigmatized at a regular school setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also now he gets to actually learn.
Yes.
Before he wasn't learning in that 2 hours at school. It was mostly him just fighting, right? But now he has the whole day where he's learning all day. Yeah. So he comes home, he feels so smart, and he is so smart. So it's great. Yeah.
Great. For me, I would say it's the teachers give us communicate with us regularly throughout the day. They note certain behaviors or certain issues that might be arising. Then they work with us collaboratively to figure out strategies that we can implement at home to support whatever work they're doing at school. And then they also help us with our own
Yeah,
self-regulation.
like one time we were dealing with a behavior at home, and we felt like, and he was going to Oakbridge, and we felt again like we were stuck and we're so alone, and we were like really struggling. And then, you know, I brought it up to one of the teachers, and they were like, well, why didn't you just tell us? Like, we can help you with this at home too. And we were like, oh, we're not alone. And then by the end of the day, they had a whole like plan for him, and we put the plan in place, and like the behavior was gone like the next day, like 2 days later. And we were just like, oh, like we didn't even, we were just so used to like having this feeling alone, you know, we didn't,
they're very
almost didn't connect.
yeah.
Like we can rely on them even for stuff at home too, you know. So yeah, it's really changed us, yeah, the parents too.
I think the environment itself is very welcoming and very warm, and there's like a lot of there's even amongst the different cohorts of of classes and the teachers and all the different cohorts, there seems to be like a sense in which there's a family like environment. And so that surprised me, just the sort of vibe of like a homey kind of environment. Like he walks in the door and everyone says hi, and
everybody knows everybody. Like all the teachers know all the students know all the teachers.
Here he comes.
Hi.
Levi. What's up, dude?
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, I will play with you after.
But yeah, like all the teachers know Levi when he walks in every morning, like they're greeting him, and he comes home and he's talking about like it's just like a family, you know, like his other family. So yeah.
Levi, we're just talking about your school, how good it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think the values of like everyone belongs and everyone deserves to learn. I mean, I don't know if that's written on their brochure, but it certainly manifests and the every day, the environment, as well as the ways in which they accommodate all different learners at all different levels of learning and all different needs. And
yeah, and everybody like everybody. There's something about a space. Yeah, it was belonging. Like
everybody belongs.
Yeah. I forget. Oh,
like
no.
They really do live integration in a way that I don't think I've ever seen in any other environment. Like certainly the public school system wasn't that. So in terms of integration and everybody has a right to learn, like that. Certainly that ethos is represented well. Like there's different levels of like kids are at different levels of literacy and everything and language development within this class. There's kids that are on the whole spectrum, and they're all able to be integrated in that one classroom, and they're all friends with each other despite the fact that some may be nonverbal, some may be very verbal, and that they find ways of reaching a commonality with everybody, and making it an environment like that's enriching and where everybody can learn at their own pace. Right?
Yeah.
A typical family is a family that's been failed by the public school system, I would say. So we all have a shared trauma in the sense of our kids feeling rejected or feeling displaced from the public school system. So I think there's that sense of solidarity amongst the parents. And
it's actually one of the first things that like we all talked about, and we're waiting, all the parents are waiting for the kids at pickup. It's like one of the first things we kind of bonded over is like, yeah, this is why, we looked into Oakbridge, and us too, like so-and-so is really struggling and it just wasn't working out. And, we got calls all the time, or,
couldn't work.
There was no friendship, or, they're feeling really left out, or, So
I think a typical family is that essentially. And I don't think demographically it's quite diverse. I don't like.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for
absolutely
Southern Ontario, like for this area.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I think we might be the only gays, but
nope, definitely not. Nope.
Okay,
you're wrong. Yeah, I do the pickups. Yeah, definitely not.
Well, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, diverse.
Reading is
writing,
math. Like
basic literacy skills that
Yeah.
he wasn't, because again, he wasn't really able to develop any of the building blocks of learning in junior and senior kindergarten. This is his second year at Oakridge. So, and then with COVID and everything on top of it. So like just the amount that he's been able to learn in such a short period of time, and his capacity for sustained friendships, which just the social skills that he's developed are, I think that he would say his favorite part of Oakridge is the friends that he's made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We love them.
Yeah.
Every time I have a what is it, like a parent teacher interview with them, I start crying, saying thank you so much. Oh my gosh, he's doing so well. Oh, he's changed my life, and I'm always crying.
It's really life changing to
is.
not feel when you have a child with sort of complex needs. It's really isolating. It's isolating with your own social group, with your family, with and in the world in general. And so feeling that you're supported and that people understand and that they have your corner and they have your back has been life changing for us. Like, even the confidence that we have in supporting Levi through meltdowns and things, I just feel that I have a knowledge base behind it, which I was just sort of flailing before, because the teachers will respond if you have questions or concerns. I communicate with them via, like, they have the Class Dojo, which is their communication app throughout the day. I can text, like, Levi had a rough morning this morning, XYZ happened, how should we manage it? They'll say he's doing XYZ, this is what you should do. And then the whole thing resolves by the end of the day. I already have a plan of how I'm going to, what the intervention is going to be in the evening, and how we're going to make the next day fresh and start over.
Or they'll say little things like, you guys are doing great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we'll be like, thank you, so are you.
So I think even with like a neurotypical kid, you feel like you're failing them, let alone a kid that has like more complex needs. So it's been very great to feel like, yeah. You're nudging me. You're pretty good too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Of the three biggest, there's like so many.
I don't know. Learning, friendship, support. That would be what
I would say the support, because I think that I know there's a lot of people that are looking for a school like Oakridge, and I wish there were lots of schools like Oakridge.
I wish there was lots of schools like Oakridge that were free.
Yeah, but I just think that I think the support that you can get is number one.
The three things, like, support.
It's definitely the support you get.
I think seeing your kid like blossom.
Oh, that's very close. Like, number one.
Like having
literally change.
Like this spark of joy.
And have just Levi was almost like, I'm gonna cry now, but like Levi was like depressed. Like wasn't a happy kid, and now he's like totally different. So yeah. So.
Well, I don't think that there's any other school like this school for the specific population, like for this population of kids. Like, I mean, I think if you can do it, it's a no-brainer. It's really like, Levi's come alive at this school. I think it's really changed the trajectory of his life. I don't know where he would be. He was very lost, very depressed. No confidence
at all. And we could see that he was so smart,
Yeah, and so funny and so cool.
Yeah, and could be a really good friend to kids,
That's all he wanted to be, was a friend. So, I mean, I would say it's really, it's if you have a similar kind of situation as we have, where you have a kid that has unique needs that's struggling in public school, and you want a school that will kind of nurture them and allow them to flourish, then it's really a no-brainer. There is no place in the region like this school. I don't think there may be no place in Ontario like this school.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
So I can't recommend it more.
Yeah.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.